right this very second, you are probably staring at a screen. Or, maybe you just looked away from one to listen to this deep dive.
Which is a good thing, by the way.
Right, yeah, definitely a good thing. But as you're sitting there listening, your eyes are making these microscopic adjustments, like thousands of times a minute.
Oh, absolutely. It's constant work.
Exactly. They're constantly battling this relentless artificial glare, focusing and refocusing on tiny pixels, and basically trying to navigate a visual environment that human evolution absolutely did not prepare them for.
Yeah, it really is a staggering biomechanical mismatch, if you think about it.
A mismatch? How so?
Well, I mean, we are essentially asking a biological system that was designed for spotting predators across a vast sunlit savanna to just stare unblinking at a glowing rectangle.
Right. Like 12 inches from our face.
Exactly. And doing that for 10, 12, sometimes 14 hours a day, it's just an unprecedented load on a very delicate system.
And that is exactly the reality we are unpacking today. We're diving into this fascinating comparison between traditional eye care routines and modern nutritional support.
Specifically looking at comprehensive options, right, like Visium Plus.
Yeah, exactly. The core mission of this deep dive is to figure out if taking care of your vision really has to feel like, a second job.
Yeah.
Because if you look at the current landscape of eye health advice, it is incredibly overwhelming.
It really is.
Okay, let's unpack this. Trying to follow every single piece of modern eye care advice is like trying to train for an Ironman triathlon just so you can comfortably walk up a flight of stairs.
That is a great way to put it.
Right. It's well-intentioned, but utterly exhausting.
The exhaustion is very real. And, if we connect this to the bigger picture, to understand why we need a better approach, we have to look at the sheer scale of the modern stressors placed on the eye.
Because it's not just the screens, right?
No, not at all. I mean, we have to acknowledge that occasional eye fatigue, like feeling a little heavy-lidded after reading a physical book, that is completely normal.
Right, everyone gets that.
Exactly. But we aren't dealing with occasional fatigue anymore. We're dealing with a modern cocktail of constant stressors.
Like what, specifically?
Well, it is reduced outdoor activity, for one. It's the natural aging process, which is often accelerated by poor dietary habits. It's environmental pollution, and it's a widespread lack of quality sleep.
Wow, okay, so it's literally coming from all sides.
It is. And when you stack all those compounding factors together, a quick fix like just taking a 10-minute digital detox on a Sunday afternoon, it simply isn't going to move the needle.
Yeah, a walk in the park isn't going to undo 14 hours of spreadsheets.
Right. You are looking at a situation that requires consistent long-term care.
So, okay, if an occasional digital detox isn't enough, what are we actually supposed to be doing? If you look at what the source material considers the traditional eye health routine, it reads like a massive daily checklist of chores.
It really does feel like a second job.
Let's start with diet, because, that's always step one in these things. Nutrition experts are constantly telling us we need a very specific daily menu for vision-friendly nutrients.
The grocery list is extensive.
It is. You need to be sourcing and cooking spinach, kale, carrots, sweet potatoes, bell peppers, citrus fruits, eggs, fatty fish, nuts, and seeds. Every single day.
And to be fair, we shouldn't dismiss the science behind that list because it is incredibly sound.
Right. I mean, the food is good for you.
Exactly. Those foods provide the raw materials your eyes desperately need.
Yeah.
Take the fatty fish, for example. We always hear about omega-3s, but what do they actually do?
Good question. What do they do?
They literally build the lipid layer, the oil layer of your tear film.
Which stops your tears from just evaporating into thin air,
Yeah,
right?
precisely. Because when you stare at an Excel spreadsheet or, say, a social media feed, your blink rate plummets by about 60%.
Wait, really? 60%?
Yes. You essentially stop blinking. And if you don't have a robust lipid layer built from those omega-3s, the water in your eyes evaporates instantly.
Oh, wow.
That is exactly why your eyes feel like hot sandpaper by 3 in the afternoon.
Okay, so the mechanism makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
And what about the leafy greens? Like the spinach and the kale. That's for the lutein and zeaxanthin, right?
Yes, exactly. Think of the macula, which is the highly sensitive center of your retina, as needing its own internal sunglasses.
Internal sunglasses. I like that.
Lutein and zeaxanthin physically build up a protective pigment layer in the macula. They absorb the high-energy blue light from your screens and the sun before that light can, damage the underlying photoreceptor cells.
So the biological need is undeniable, but here is the massive disconnect for anyone living in the real world.
The execution of it.
Yes, to maintain that specific diet every single day requires meticulous meal planning. It requires constant grocery shopping, dedicated food preparation, and just unbroken healthy eating habits.
Which is incredibly hard.
If you are working a full-time job, managing a household, or commuting, eating like a Vision Health monk is practically a part-time job in itself.
It is. Which brings us to the next pillar of the traditional routine, which is screen time reduction.
Which is almost comical to even suggest.
Right.
I mean, limit screen time. Most people are working 8+ hours on computers every single day just to earn a living.
That's just the baseline.
Exactly. Then you add in the necessary time spent checking your smartphone for messages or navigation, and then in the evenings, you are likely watching TV or streaming content just to decompress.
Yeah, the screens are everywhere.
So how do you realistically reduce screen exposure when your entire professional and personal life is mediated through a screen?
Well, the short answer is you generally don't.
Right.
The data shows that modern life makes meaningful screen reduction largely unrealistic for the average working adult.
Okay, so because you can't stop looking at screens, the traditional routine throws you a lifeline, right? The 20-20-20 rule.
Yes, a very famous rule.
So every 20 minutes, you are supposed to look away from your screen and focus on something about 20 feet away for at least 20 seconds.
That's the recommendation, yes.
This is supposed to reduce temporary eye strain. But again, let's talk about the mechanics here. What is looking 20 feet away actually doing inside my head?
Okay, so inside your eye, there is a tiny ring of muscle called the ciliary muscle.
Ciliary muscle. Got it.
When you look at something close up, like a tablet or a phone, that muscle has to contract and hold tension to physically bend the lens of your eye.
To keep it in focus.
Exactly. It keeps the close-up text in focus. Imagine holding a heavy bag of groceries straight out at arm's length.
Oh, that sounds painful.
Right. That is what your ciliary muscle is doing the entire time you are staring at a screen.
Wow. So it's literally just muscle fatigue. We're giving our eyes a workout without realizing it.
Exactly. It's holding that tension for hours.
Hmm.
So looking 20 feet away is the optical equivalent of finally putting the grocery bag down.
That makes so much sense.
It allows the zonular fibers to relax, the lens flattens out, and the ciliary muscle finally gets a break. Mechanically speaking, it is highly effective.
I love that grocery bag metaphor because it makes it so clear why we need to do it. But the challenge here isn't the effectiveness of the rule, is it? It's the behavioral friction.
Oh, entirely. The friction is huge.
Let's be honest. When you are in a flow state at work, or you are deep into a complex project, or even just really engrossed in a movie, you are absolutely not going to break your concentration every 20 minutes to stare out a window.
No, human behavior just doesn't work like that.
Right. We just ignore the reminder.
We do. We suffer from continuous partial attention, and adding another micro task to our day just creates cognitive overload.
And the traditional checklist just keeps going. Like, next up is hydration. You have to constantly drink water because, as we established, it's necessary for the aqueous layer of your tear production.
Which is critical.
But most adults still fail to drink even the baseline recommended amount of water each day.
Let alone extra for optimal tear production.
Exactly. Then there's UV protection. You have to remember to wear high-quality sunglasses every single time you are outdoors to protect those macular pigments from ultraviolet light degradation.
And people constantly forget their sunglasses.
Oh, well, they just buy cheap ones that don't actually block the UV rays anyway.
Right, which can actually be worse because it dilates the pupil and lets more UV light in.
Oh, wow, I didn't even think of that. And we certainly can't forget sleep in this traditional routine.
No, sleep is foundational. The eyes rely on the sleep cycle to rest, clear out metabolic waste from the retina, and regenerate cellular tissue.
But healthy sleep patterns are constantly derailed. I mean, late-night screen use disrupts melatonin production, our schedules are crazy, and there's just overall stress.
It's a very difficult cycle to break.
So because we can't maintain this perfect monastic lifestyle of raw vegetables and 8 hours of perfect sleep, people naturally turn to supplements to fill the gaps.
Which makes sense in theory.
But this is where the traditional routine really goes off the rails and ends in supplement overload.
Oh yeah, the pill fatigue is real.
To get all the nutrients you are missing from that massive grocery list, people end up buying multiple separate bottles. You've got vitamin A, vitamin C, vitamin E, zinc, selenium, and various isolated antioxidants.
Right.
You end up managing an entire pharmacy on your kitchen counter every single morning.
It becomes a logistical nightmare.
Yeah.
Just keeping track of what to take when is exhausting.
I want to push back on this for a second, though.
Okay, sure.
Because someone listening might look at this massive list and say, wait, isn't this really just a discipline problem?
Ah, the discipline on you.
Yeah, like if you genuinely care about your eyes, shouldn't you just set an alarm on your phone for the 20-20-20 rule, force yourself to meal prep kale and fatty fish on Sunday afternoons, and just push through the friction?
It's a very common reaction to blame a lack of discipline,
Mm-hmm.
but it fundamentally misunderstands the reality of behavioral psychology.
How so?
Well, when we analyze the fatal flaw of these complex traditional routines, it almost always comes down to cognitive load and consistency. The weakness isn't the science, right?
Okay.
These are excellent health principles. The flaw is the behavioral reality.
The sheer friction of doing it all every single day.
Precisely. Managing meticulous meal planning, constant eye breaks, optimal hydration levels, strict sleep hygiene, and multiple separate supplement bottles, it requires an extraordinarily high level of daily discipline.
More than most people have to spare.
Right. It simply isn't biologically or psychologically sustainable for months or years. People start out highly enthusiastic on day one, sure.
We've all been there on January 1st.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But they gradually abandon the routine because life inevitably gets in the way. A stressful week at work happens, a kid gets sick, you have to travel, and the whole delicate routine just collapses.
Okay, so since these complex routines fail almost universally due to a lack of consistency, let's steer this deep dive into the solution that actually makes sense.
Let's do it.
And according to the source, it's deeply rooted in behavioral science and the power of simplification.
Yes. If we want to succeed, we have to look at what behavioral research actually tells us about human habit formation.
The research shows that people are exponentially more likely to stick to habits that are easy, convenient, quick, and seamlessly integrated into an existing daily routine.
Which makes perfect sense.
It makes the brilliant point that a habit taking just 1 minute a day will almost always beat out a multi-step lifestyle overhaul.
Consistency beats intensity.
Here's where it gets really interesting. Think about this in the context of your own life. You don't need a perfect routine. You need a persistent one.
Persistent, yes.
It's the difference between doing a grueling, muscle-shredding, 2-hour workout once a month versus taking a brisk 10-minute walk every single day.
Right.
The walk is what actually changes your baseline cardiovascular health over a year. The 2-hour workout just makes you sore and resentful.
What's fascinating here is that adopting a simpler approach doesn't mean abandoning healthy habits altogether.
Right, you still have to try.
Exactly. No one is suggesting that eating vegetables or wearing sunglasses is a waste of time. Instead, the article advocates for a daily nutritional approach to act as the anchor for your routine.
And an anchor. I like that.
It suggests that rather than juggling those 7 different supplement bottles, we mentioned the vitamins A, C, E, zinc, selenium, and the rest, you swap them out for one comprehensive formula.
You drastically reduce the friction in the habit.
You do. You take it down to one step.
Which brings us directly to the specific case study we're analyzing today. Because we have established that simplicity drives consistency, we need to look at a prime example of what a simplified, comprehensive nutritional approach looks like in actual practice.
Right.
And the example provided is Visium Plus.
Visium Plus is presented as a premium vision support formulation, yes.
Let's unpack the black box of this formulation. It's not just a basic multivitamin.
No, it's much more targeted.
It's formulated with a very specific blend of vitamins, essential minerals, antioxidants, and this is the part that really caught my eye, of specific mushroom extracts and various plant-based ingredients.
It's a very unique combination.
And the key behavioral mechanism here is that all of this is delivered in a single daily serving. You aren't opening 6 bottles, you are opening 1.
Right, reducing that friction again.
But let's go back to the biological mechanisms for a moment. We know what vitamins C and E do. They act as antioxidants that sweep up the metabolic waste and free radicals produced when light hits our photoreceptors.
Basically cleaning up the cellular exhaust.
Right. But what on earth is a mushroom extract doing for my eyes?
It's a great question, and it's actually fascinating.
Okay, tell me.
Certain medicinal mushrooms, which are increasingly used in these advanced formulations, are incredibly rich in beta-glucans and unique, complex antioxidants that you simply don't encounter in a standard Western diet.
Okay, and what do those unique compounds actually do at a cellular level?
They strongly support healthy inflammatory responses and vascular health.
Vascular health, like blood vessels.
Yes. Think about the microvessels in your eyes. The retina has one of the highest oxygen demands of any tissue in the entire human body.
Really? That tiny little area.
Yes. It requires massive, unobstructed blood flow through a very delicate vascular network called the choroid.
Okay, so it's essentially high-level plumbing support for the optic nerve and the retina.
That is exactly what it is. And when you combine those complex plant-based compounds with foundational minerals like zinc,
What does the zinc do here?
zinc literally acts as the transporter that brings vitamin A from your liver up to your retina to produce protective melanin.
Wow.
So when you put them together, you are creating a synergistic effect. The ingredients work together. But crucially, you are achieving all of this biological support in one single step.
And that single daily serving becomes the behavioral anchor we talked about.
Exactly.
It shifts the requirement from a high-friction, time-intensive process to a quick, convenient one-step habit.
Which is something people could actually sustain.
Okay, I have to jump in here and raise a critical question on behalf of anyone listening who might be, naturally skeptical of single-step solutions.
Fair enough.
So, what does this all mean? Does this suggest we can just take this one Visium Plus supplement every morning, completely ignore our diet, eat drive-through burgers every day, and stare at our tablets in a pitch-black room all night without any consequences?
This raises an important question. And it is vital to be incredibly precise about what a nutritional approach actually claims.
Right. We don't want to overpromise.
The answer is absolutely not.
Yeah.
A comprehensive supplement like Visium Plus is not intended to replace a balanced diet.
Good.
It does not replace the need for regular professional eye examinations, and it certainly does not give you a free pass to ignore healthy lifestyle habits.
So it's not some magic bullet that creates an invisible force field against blue light.
No, biology just doesn't work like that. It is designed to complement those healthy choices, not replace them.
Right.
The ultimate goal is long-term consistency. It provides a reliable nutritional baseline. The reality of modern life is that you are going to have days where you eat poorly.
Oh, absolutely.
You are going to have weeks where you are forced to stare at screens for 12 hours a day to meet a deadline.
We've all been there.
Right. So the comprehensive supplement ensures that on your absolute worst days, your eyes are still getting the essential biochemical building blocks they need to attempt cellular repair and recovery.
I see. It bridges the gap between the perfect routine you want to have and the realistic routine you actually have time for.
That's a perfect way to summarize it.
Because the supplement is just the anchor and doesn't replace those vital lifestyle habits, you still need a practical way to manage your daily life without getting overwhelmed by the friction.
You still have to live in the real world.
Exactly. So how do we seamlessly combine both approaches, the healthy lifestyle choices and the daily nutritional support? How do we build a sustainable routine that actually sticks?
This is where behavioral science really meets practical, everyday application.
The first and arguably most powerful tip from the source is habit stacking.
Habit stacking is brilliant.
It really is. This means taking your new daily supplement and physically attaching it to a pre-existing habit that you already do automatically without even thinking about it.
Like brushing your teeth?
Exactly. Or taking it every single morning right when you pour your morning coffee. If you're a busy professional, a parent juggling a million schedules, a frequent traveler, or an older adult, you absolutely do not have time to forge a brand new, complex wellness ritual.
No one has time for that.
Right. Habit stacking is like putting your car keys inside your shoes so you don't forget them in the morning. You are hijacking things you already do to guarantee your own success.
Habit stacking is incredibly effective because you completely eliminate the need for willpower or memory.
You don't even have to think about it.
Exactly. The existing habit, making the coffee, serves as the automatic psychological trigger for the new habit.
The next major tip is about accessibility, specifically regarding diet. Remember that massive, impossible grocery list from the traditional routine?
The one that required a part-time job to maintain.
Yeah, that one. A much better approach is to simply alter your environment. Stock easy-to-grab foods instead of trying to plan complex multi-course meals.
Oh, it's simple.
Keep a bowl of oranges right on your desk. Have almonds, spinach, berries, and carrots readily accessible at eye level in the fridge.
Again, you're reducing friction. If the healthy choice is the path of least resistance, you are exponentially more likely to make it.
Right.
You don't have to steam a fillet of fish. You just grab a handful of almonds while you walk out the door.
And then we can use technology as an ally.
Huh.
We talked about how hard it is to remember the 20-20-20 rule, or to stay hydrated when you are in a flow state.
It's nearly impossible.
The solution is to let your devices do the remembering for you. Use your phone or your smartwatch to set automatic, gentle reminders.
It completely offloads the cognitive burden.
Right, you don't have to stress about it.
You don't have to track the time or monitor your thirst. You just respond to the cue. When the watch taps your wrist, you take a sip of water, look across the room, and let that metaphorical grocery bag down for 20 seconds.
And finally, professional care. It is so important to schedule regular comprehensive eye exams, even if you don't notice any vision changes at all.
Absolutely vital.
Just get it on the calendar and let the professionals check your baseline. Take the anxiety out of it.
Preventive maintenance.
Yeah. If you look at this combined list habit, stacking a daily supplement, keeping snacks visible, automating your screen breaks, and seeing a doctor once a year, it is infinitely more realistic than the traditional checklist.
I think that captures the essence perfectly.
Yeah.
Yes. The core thesis here is ultimately this. Focus on progress over perfection.
Progress over perfection.
The biological and behavioral data consistently show that consistency over a decade yields far more value than a few days of occasional flawless eye care perfection.
Right, because perfection is brittle.
Exactly. By simplifying the routine, you build a framework that bends with the chaotic realities of your life rather than breaking the moment you get busy.
Which brings us to the bottom line of today's deep dive. If there is one thing to take away, it is that modern life is incredibly, uniquely tough on our eyes.
Uniquely tough.
We are asking them to do high-tension tasks they simply weren't evolutionarily designed to do for this many hours a day.
And we are paying the price for it.
And traditional eye care routines, while based on very sound science, often fail us because they demand way too much time, friction, and discipline for a busy person to maintain.
It's just too much to juggle.
But by radically simplifying the approach using tools like automated smartwatch reminders, altering our environment to keep healthy snacks easily accessible, and anchoring the whole thing with a comprehensive daily supplement like Visium Plus, you can actually achieve the long-term consistency your eyes desperately need.
It's all about consistency.
Maintaining your vision doesn't have to be a part-time job.
It really is all about adapting our biology to the artificial environment we find ourselves in. And honestly, we've spent this whole time discussing how to adapt our daily routines to protect our eyes from the strain of modern smartphones and desktop monitors.
Right.
But as we look toward the horizon where virtual and augmented reality headsets aim to place high-definition digital screens literally mere millimeters from our corneas, trapping our ciliary muscles in a continuous state of tension for hours at a time, it leaves you with a staggering thought.
Okay, color me terrified. What is it?
It makes you wonder, will this simplified nutritional approach be enough to protect us? Or is the very definition of healthy human vision about to undergo a forced evolutionary shift?
Wow, that is a genuinely wild thought to end on. If you thought battling the glare from a smartphone was demanding, just wait until the screen is permanently strapped to your face.
It's coming.
Well, on that slightly terrifying note, we want to thank you so much for joining us for this deep dive. Take a moment today to look at your own environment. Think about how you can habit stack your routines, make things a little easier on yourself, put that grocery bag down for 20 seconds, and definitely spend some time pondering what the future of human vision is going to look like in an increasingly digital world. See you next time.